I really want to know. So you did sneak into Bahamian Grove.
Yes, I did.
Okay, so what's back there?
Well, it's a 2,700 acre beautiful redwoods.
2,700 acres.
And it looks like Yosemite. It's the biggest redwoods you've ever seen, but there's not tourists. And
what would be the purpose for such a facility or for such a?
Well, the history's known. Mark Twain and others, when they were in San Francisco, bought the land and set it up as an artist retreat. It was very, very liberal. And then William Howard Taft, right around the turn of the last century, about 120 years ago, they came in and bought it. The president bought it with a consortium.
Right. Did they buy it with the American public's money?
No, just a bunch of robber barons bought it.
Okay, gotcha.
And then they threw out a lot of the artists, but kept some of them.
Okay.
And then it was just a place to, let their hair down and do all sorts of stuff. And
also stuff. Just give me an idea.
Even back then there was, gay stuff going on, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Sex.
Because I want to.
But they'd also down the road they built a whole camp and stuff where they wouldn't let the women in, but they'd ship in a bunch of hookers. And then they put a railway into it.
So orgies and stuff.
Orgies, yeah.
All right, cool.
And,
I ain't really got no real big problem.
But then over time they brought a German death cult over, same one they have at Skull and Bones, and
Skull and Bones, the Bilderberg Group and such.
Yeah, and which those are a German chancellor came out. Mm-hmm. And he wrote a book, Men in Power is a Political Retrospective.
Right.
For the name of the prime minister, my brain's failing. Mm-hmm. But it's political. Men in Power is a political retrospective.
All right.
He said, we have our own rituals in Germany, but we really like the ones we do out there.
Right.
And so by the turn of not this century, but the century before, about 120 years ago, it became super elite. Expected it still took a few weeks to go across the country from D.C. or New York. And so they'd stay sometimes a whole month once they got there.
Okay.
And so the robber barons, the most rich people, and the Rockefellers,
sure,
all of them started going there. And then they started doing Druidic and Germanic rituals and reportedly even human sacrifice there. And then kids started disappearing in the area. It was being reported, over 100 years ago that kids were missing quite a bit. That they were
missing children seemed to be
the threat.
A repetitive narrative.
Yeah.
So it seems like children or innocence are the fuel to this.
Just like in the new Skeksis Netflix thing that's excellent. They literally take the innocent Gethling and they suck its energy. You
say the new what?
The new Dark Crystal show.
I haven't seen it.
Is an allegory of exactly what they're doing. So I got contacted by a reporter with Channel 4, and he said, I've got people that work there, and they want it to be exposed, but we can't have the liability. And I know you've snuck into some places, done some investigative reporting on some military drills that we're practicing to round people up and stuff. If we got you a ticket and got you, the inside deal, you can still get arrested by the Secret Service because presidents and people go there. But will you sneak in? And I said yes.
So you were prompted by a facility or like a group.
Yes, and it turns out.
Who was this group again?
Turns out it was the Democrats, basically. Because Bohemian Grove is mainly Republican.
Okay, go ahead. Let's go.
And so I'm like, I'm 45 now. This was in 2000, so I was a lot younger.
Okay.
And I later learned I was set up. So instead of getting into the occult part of it, let me hit this first. So I sneak in, I get in there. Secret Service questions me. I've been given passcodes to what club I'm in, but still they act suspicious. So I climb under one of these houses, log cabins, until it gets dark. Because I was supposed to be there on July 15th to catch the cremation of care, a mock human sacrifice of a child in front of this giant owl that also doubles as a giant bull, Moloch, where they sacrifice kids in Tyre in the Middle East. So
that owl represents the sacrifice of children.
Yes. Well, and Moloch's also
the same owl that is present in Adult Swim, the same owl that is present even in OVO for Drake and his record label. But that owl, you saying, whether it is knowingly or unbeknownst to the person who uses it, it represents the sacrifice of children.
Well, any symbol could have multiple uses, but it is in the National Press Club symbol, and the press has also gone there secretly. It's what's part of them being compromised. And yes, the reason they worship the owl in that particular form, because it can mean other thing in Greek mythology, knowledge, and things like that, is that the owl is a bird of prey. America is a bald eagle, and Iran is an eagle, and everybody likes eagles. Okay, because it's up there, it can see, it's smart, but you can't see it. The owl's a great horned owl is bigger than the bald eagle. It'd kill one. I mean, it's meaner than hell. It's got big old eyes, and it can see in the dark.
Right.
So, see, it's got knowledge. It can see you like special forces, but you can't see it.
Right.
You're in the dark. It walks right over and just grabs you and eats you, and you can't do a damn thing. And it kills other birds. It kills eagles at night. Eagles get down in their nest at night. They fear the owls. The owls come in. They hunt other royal birds, as you would call them. So the great horned owl.
What kind of terrain would it? What kind of terrain would it be where an owl would hunt an eagle?
A place just like those redwoods. So it's the ultimate predator. But nobody's got the owl as their national symbol.
So in the Bahamian Grove is where owls hunt eagles. Basically. Terrain such as that.
And so it's all a play on that, like, hey, we're the real bird.
I got
we
you.
We only operate in the.
So you think this American bird is the bird you need to be looking out for, but in actuality is really this one.
Yeah, it's saying our national bird is really a great horned owl.
Right.
Twice the size of a bald eagle. And I mean, have you ever seen one?
What did you see when you broke in?
Let me tell you, sometimes in Austin, we've got these great horned owls. You got them here too. You'll be walking sometimes in the woods. You look over at the edge, and there's one sitting up at the top of the tree, up out of the brush, just looking at you. It's got eyes like that big.
Yellow eyes.
Yeah, it looks like Batman. It's scary as hell. Yeah. Anyways, it's one of the scariest things you ever see is when you look over, you feel it looking, you look over, and there's that great horned owl, those big old yellow eyes.
But that's what you saw.
Well, they've got a 50-foot tall stone one, and they bring a child to it, and then they have the priest all out in front of it.
Did you see a child?
Yeah, they brought a child in effigy in.
You saw that?
Yeah, I hid out. I crawled out, but then later I learned what happened.
Wait a minute. Whoa. So you actually hid out, you looked, and you saw a child be brought to a 50-foot statue of an owl.
Well, they said it was a mock child, but yes.
They said it was a mock child.
But the thing is,
a child?
They put all their troubles on the child, and then the deity, and at that time Walter Cronkite was still alive, he did the voice. So, but theater all comes from rituals. So theater, the priest would get up and do theater as part of the rituals. So we're in the church, out under the redwoods, around this little pond. They're in front of it.
It was people who broke in with you?
No, there's all the members are watching.
But you said we. You said we were.
No, we're all there. I'm there with the people watching it. And
but you're in hiding.
No, I've come out at night. I get in during the day. They question me. It's still 3 hours till night. I cover it all in my film, Dark Secrets Inside Bohemian Grove. It's free online.
All right.
There's another one called Order of Death that has the latest. And again, people can find it all free. They've tried to take it off YouTube.
So you snuck into Bohemian Grove. You were basically caught and questioned and allowed to stay to witness a ritual.
I was about to say, you're really smart, or did you do your homework? Because you're both. I didn't understand this till later.
Okay.
So yes, I'm given a passcode.
All right.
I think when the Secret Service questions me, that I acted confident they just let me do it. But the truth was they were just going through checking everybody, and they had the head sheriff there and everything. They were looking at me, and they let me go. I climb up underneath a log cabin, wait till it gets dark. Starting to get dark. I come out. They're all feasting under these giant redwood trees.
Feasting? What do you mean? What would they eat?
They're all at big, huge picnic tables under giant redwoods, like a cathedral.
But what would they eat?
Like prettier than any national park you've seen. They're out there eating steaks, whatever. I'm not getting down there with them. I come down out of the hills.
You didn't see what they were eating. Do you know that they weren't eating children?
No. This is all archetypal.
Okay.
This is only the first gate. Because they bring thousands of guests to this. There's about 1,000 members. They bring about 1,000 guests.
It's 2,700 acres. So,
but let me expand on that.
It's basically the size of a fucking capital city.
Yeah, and so it's a mock human sacrifice. They say
mock human.
Well, and I'll describe that. So,
wait a minute. Who would find it necessary to mock a human sacrifice?
Well, sure, mock has that meaning as well, but mock means simulated.
Okay, who would have it useful to them and beneficial to them
It's like a mock-up.
to simulate.
Well,
a
they're
human
doing it
sacrifice.
to see if the guests they've brought are into it.
Huh?
But the members are really getting off on it and going while they do it, and then they bring in a hearse. They bring in a
So that must mean that
they bring a
So
wagon drawn, a
basically,
black wagon
Yeah.
with a child in a coffin.
Okay,
and then
a
they-
live child.
They no, it's I was 150 yards away.
Okay.
In the woods watching this.
Okay.
With the people down below me.
But wait, you 150 yards away in the woods.
This is like a
watching-
devil worshiper movie where the kids climb over the hill and watch a human sacrifice.
I understand that.
So this really happened.
I understand that's what you're describing. I'm just trying to clarify for my own understanding. Listen, so you're saying you were 150 yards away, hiding in the woods, watching a mock sacrifice
Yes.
of
Simulated.
a simulated sacrifice of a child in a black wagon brought in a casket. All right, I understand that part. Now, what I'm trying to say is earlier you said you were questioned.
Yes.
Okay, so you said you were questioned before the sun went down. Okay, so if you were questioned before the sun went down, how did you end up then 150 yards away in the woods still watching?
That's a good question. I mean, I made the film. There's 2 films. They're free online. Dark Secrets Inside Bohemian Grove. Remember, this is shot from a little hidden camera. You know, it's color back
I
then.
know that, but I got you here, so I don't need to
No,
watch
no.
the film. I
Okay,
can just ask you
here we
what
go.
happened.
Here we go. I go up to the end of the road. They've got checkpoints and guards.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a parking area right off here. There's like a little swamp right here
Right.
where they have these open back trucks that come and pick people up that work there and take them in or take members.
Right.
I crawl through. I sit there and act like I'm in a car. Wait till some of these old men start going to get on the back of this flat back deal. We go rolling through. I'm dressed like a yuppie. They let me get in.
Mm-hmm.
Then I get off. I start walking up the hill. And I had a map that down here was the water and where the Moloch was, the owl. Moloch's also a bull, but has double meanings. I go up in the hills. I'm trying to, get away from folks.
Were you pursued? Like,
Well, I was about to tell you,
on foot?
some Hispanic gentlemen ride by on a Cushman work cart. They whistle at me, and they say, "Oh yeah." They start laughing, going, "There's one of the, basically, there's one of the prostitutes." I was good looking back then.
Prostitutes.
Yeah, because I was like, 27 years
What
old.
I'm saying is, listen, they
Yep.
didn't pursue you for being a bogey.
They didn't know. I get in, I get out. I see some guys. Something what happened. Whistle at me. Okay,
They
because it's a
whistled
very
at you in the wilderness.
No. It's roads in these woods. So you get in, you get past the checkpoint. Down here's where the
So
owl
you're
is.
basically like hiding behind a stop sign.
No, I'm just walking like I own the place.
walking. Like
Dudes
you
walk
own the
by
place.
and whistle at me and tell me
Gotcha.
they want to have sex with me. It's very gay.
Okay.
Okay, I get up to the top of the hill.
Okay.
A sheriff, the sheriff, later learn, walks up with Secret Service, and they say, "Who are you with?" And I said, "I'm here with the I'm here with the hillbillies, and that's actually the camp and the group of the Bushes." I figured I have a Texas
right.
accent. They go, "Really?" I go, "Yeah." So I go on up. All of a sudden, I go down a little side road. I see a police car drive by. I say, "I better hide." I climb up underneath
All right.
one of these log cabins, and I wait till it starts getting dark.
Okay.
Okay? Then I get another tape in my little DV cam little deal, my little fanny pack,
Gotcha.
which is super obvious. You're not going to walk around with this thing. And then I sneak down. I'm going down the
This is
hill.
not stylish enough. No gay man. Right.
Listen,
right
I'm going
now
down
to
the
have a
hill. I'm
fanny
going down the
pack
hill.
on.
And then I'm going down the hill, and there they are down there with all these big tables. There's photos of this online that they've since released.
I get you.
All eating food under the redwoods. I go down here. I get in position in the woods. They all start leaving.
They
They
could've
go
been
around.
eating
They go around and
Impossible
get.
meat.
They go around and get around
Right.
the pool.
Okay. The pool is in like a pool, a swimming pool.
No, it's an artificial. I mean, it's like a pond, a lake right there.
Okay.
It's like a long reflecting pool in front of the owl.
All right.
I kind of hang out. People are already there waiting on the edge.
Is it a fountain?
No, it's a pool. There's
Okay.
bats flying around, grabbing
Bats?
bugs. Absolutely, tons of bats. So there's all these bats flying around eating bugs. It's a beautiful night. The sun's almost down.
It's a beautiful night with tons of bats flying around.
Well, if you go up in the Northern California, there's a ton of bats in the summer.
Flying around eating bugs.
Bugs. If you go to Austin, there's like millions of them.
Okay. all
I mean,
right.
there's just bats everywhere.
Yes,
so
sir.
there's these
Continue.
So there's little. They're called Mexican brown bats. That's a species.
Right.
There's all these Mexican brown bats flying around, And maybe no species, because Austin has a record number of them as well. That's what lives in the southern part of the United States in the West.
Okay.
And so we're sitting there.
And this is what state?
This is Northern California.
Okay, say less.
Sonoma County.
Okay, go ahead.
You can go there on July 15th. There'll be a bunch of protesters outside.
You know what? Guess what? I pass.
Well,
go ahead. Let's hear more.
And I'll tell you a story. I'm walking by, and I've told this once, but I don't like promoting this stuff just from either side.
All right.
Danny Glover's there.
Oh, shit.
And he's talking to folks and everything. And then I'm walking by to go down when they're breaking up from the meal to go down to the pool where I know the Owl's at. And I hear some old men that look about 98 call him going, "What's that guy bleeping N-word doing here?" So I actually did hear that while I was there.
And Danny Glover heard them say this?
No. I'm like, I'm trying to not be seen here. And there's Danny Glover. And then who was Bill Clinton's top advisor? Later I saw him, one of the most powerful guys in D.C., Jordan, whatever his name was there. Those are the only two black guys I saw. And
but Danny Glover was there, an actor.
And I heard, just because I was like, that's Danny Glover. I'm trying to not be seen. I'm in the crowd. Right. And I hear these old men going, bleeping, you know. So I did actually hear some racist stuff there.
Right. But you still saw black people there. So racism,
I saw
racism even exists in, like, Satanism.
Yes, I mean, I'm just telling you. I'm
even
like,
within Satanism,
I'm like, there's Danny. I'm like saying, there's Danny.
That shit to me is bewildering. Even if we have all come together to agree to worship a dark being by the name of Satan, even if we've come to do all of these things, there is still a dividing class, and people still will call me a nigga. We can't just all be Satan worshipers. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think Danny Glover.
Am I not in a superficial, extraterrestrial, outside of my human form being when I become? So I'm still considered a nigga, even when
Tim,
I become.
I only told that story because I get knowing you're being targeted and then wanting to point it out so people stop doing it.
Right.
I'm just getting to the fact that. I only brought that up because it's true, and that was something that happened.
I mean, I appreciate you bringing it up because it provides a certain level of insight.
But listen, I don't want to slander Danny Glover.
No, we're not slandering Danny Glover.
No, you're not.
Because you're not even saying that he's there. I'm going to take it as though you
looked
saw
like Danny
someone
Glover.
Who looked like Danny Glover.
But I want to be clear. I looked it up later. He's a guest. But let me tell you, I knew Charlton Heston. He wasn't bad. And I also love... of course, one of the greatest actors of all time, Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood is a member. What I'm trying to explain is...
What is the purpose of the group? What is
it's
their
all
mission?
Thinly veiled. It was started by Mark Twain.
But what's their mission
statement? So they get all the top actors, and they get the top musicians. The Grateful Dead is played there, and a lot of them aren't getting what this ritual is. It's a Faustian German death cult ritual.
May I ask, what's their mission statement?
Their mission statement is weaving spiders come not here and forget about the cares of the world and do basically a voodoo ritual. But I don't say that from Africa. That's just a common term of where you put something onto something else. Like they used to have spirit sin eaters in old Europe and England where they'd have somebody died, you put a piece of bread on their stomach, and a sin eater would come and believe that they ate some of the sins and take some of the bad mojo. That's basically the same as voodoo. And so they do voodoo there, and it's a ritual where you put all your cares onto this child that you give to the idol, and they take it very seriously. But the way it was described to me is a lot of people that go to it, it's a place to party, hang out, talk about stuff. Not everybody's having sex with dudes. There's a bunch of female hookers.
I'm sure if you want some pussy, if you care about pussy, you can get some.
Well, no, they keep the women in a whole bunch of nice little hotels, literally at the end of the street. Right. So about 400 yards down.
But the women aren't invited to
No. But about 400 yards down the street.
You got to leave the ritual to go back and get you some pussy.
There's a golf course, and there's about 10 little motels. And, man, you walk in there, they got jets landing from all over the world. All the top hookers and porn stars are there. Yeah. They're all just 400 yards away.
So let me ask you, why weren't you arrested?
I am not confessing here because I didn't know this till years later. I'm going to tell you. But you saw it, and I'm not kissing your ass, man. I'm impressed because unless you've heard me tell this before, did you know that I've explained that I was set up?
I ain't told shit. I ain't heard, no.
Okay, I'm impressed. All right, I only figured this out years later.
All right.
Okay, There's a really nasty dude named John Ronson. I shouldn't even give him attention here. People know he's nasty. Kind of like
I don't know.
Like if you're entering a harbor, they put a buoy where there's rocks.
I'll bleep his name out.
No. It's do what you want. The guy that acts like this fake little liberal loving guy from England and all this stuff.
Yeah.
He's the guy that I'm there covering how everybody got murdered at Waco, and I'm there and 60 Minutes is covering it. This is like in 1998.
Mm-hmm.
He comes up and he goes, Alex, have you heard of Bohemian Grove where they do rituals and all this? And I said, I don't believe all that stuff. Back then, I didn't believe that. And he goes, no, Alex, I'm with World of Wonder Channel 4, and I know a lawyer in the town, and they think you're the one that could blow it wide open. Others have been arrested. Let me give you a file. He gives me this file of all these color copies of magazines and articles for 30 years and all the arrests and CBS flying helicopters over, and nobody can get in. And so he says, well, it'll be in a year. It was actually like 2 years.
Okay.
But I'll pay you and I'll get you in, and I know the workers are going to help you. So but then he tells me, you've got to sign an agreement, Alex.
Oh, shit.
That I'm going to sneak in after you if you're successful, but I'll get sued because I'm with the big broadcaster. You've got to videotape it and give it to me and promise to never tell.
That sounds like cap to me.
That's
what we call cap where I'm from.
What's cap?
Can you say cap?
Cap, what is cap?
Cap, C-A-P.
Yeah.
Cap is basically when someone is either lying to get you off of figuring their bullshit out or exaggerating the truth in an excessive manner. That is cap. That's what I feel like what he told you as you described would be.
Well, I didn't figure it out till later because I was like, I don't know, I'm 45 now. In 2000, how old was I? I mean, I was like 25, 26. So
okay.
So I'm going in there, and I only been on the radio like 4 or 5 years at that time, and I'm just, and so they knew I'd snuck on some military bases and done some stuff, and so they knew I'd gotten footage, and so I go in there, but he comes in behind me with the lawyer, who it turns out was with the group. So this was some weird revelation of the method, but later I thought it was them letting me in. It wasn't. They got really pissed. Turned out Harry Shearer, famous comedian and actor, he was somehow involved with Ronson, and they believe they could only make a movie about it and other things once they had gotten footage, but they wanted to use me as the puppet or the drone or the decoy to go in and get it. So I go in, I get the footage, I get it to them. They put it out all over the world. It's a big hit. And 3 years later, I get calls. He's on C-SPAN with Brian Lamb saying, Alex wasn't the one that snuck in. I'm the one that did it. So then he's on Coast to Coast AM that night, next Art Bell's show.
You think he was potentially there as well while you were there?
No, he was there.
He was, okay.
He made me sign an agreement that he was going to pay me to fly there, give me the contacts, get me in with workers there. But really it was people involved in managing it, but not the members.
Okay.
It was Democrats in the locals trying to set up the Republicans, hoping I would get dirt on them.
So the Democrats are behind all this?
Or let's probably MI6.
Oh,
I mean, British.
Well, MI6. What's the difference in MI? So MI6 is the British. That's the British CIA.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So the British CIA and the Democrats, they were behind all this.
That is, I know it was a setup, but I mean, tell me what you think.
Okay.
So, and this is a guy that wrote all those movies like Men Who Stare at Goats and a whole bunch of other stuff. But the point is that he's a disinformation operative. So, I go in. He says, I'll try to get in later with the lawyer if I'm able. Later that night, after I get out, he comes out and says, no, I was there too. Do you have the footage? And I'm like, yes. Okay, and they're just blown away that it's happened and all the rest of it. And I later thought, they knew I was going in and the Secret Service just let me. But no, I was given real passcodes on the people inside that wanted me to get the footage for another faction to expose this other arm of the cult, where they basically, Epstein takes you to an island to compromise you in weird sex and stuff. They were taking people to Bohemian Grove to compromise them who weren't in the cult yet. So it was basically like a cult feeder.
Okay.
And so what made me mad about this individual was he made me swear to never say he went in or that I had a deal to get him the footage from the beginning. And then when it became so famous, he got mad and was like, I made Alex Jones, I made him so famous, which wasn't even true, but it did make me even more famous. It exploded. He then turned around and said, I really snuck in and got it all. Alex Jones didn't, and just basically burned me on that TV show and that radio show. I called into Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. This is like in 2000 and, my God, that's got to be 13 years. You know, that was 2000 and, 2003, 2004, I forget. Yeah, 2003 or 4. You can go find that original Coast to Coast AM if you want. And it's hard to tell stories. There's so much to go over. But
I know
he was on the show saying the same thing, but I knew the show, so I called the producer and said, let me on. Right. He starts apologizing once I get on air with him and said, oh, yeah, Alex, actually, I did pay you to go in there. But he was telling the world that I was a liar.
Right.
And that he had gone and gotten the footage when it's clearly me in the videos and me getting it all.
Guess what? The fact that he admitted that on camera and it's documented, it works to your advantage, doesn't it?
Sure. I just don't think like that, like a snake. And he's the guy that then did this fake NPR story that I beat up all these nerds in high school in Dallas, and then they kidnapped me and tied me up and knocked my teeth out.
Guess what? The moral of the story is he's not here.
The moral of the story is a goddamn liar.
But he's not here on Expeditiously.
Yeah.
You are.
I understand.
And while you're here, I want to know.
Well, let me ask you that. I want to ask you this question, and you can answer.
All right, come on.
So do you think the Bohemian Grove let me in, or I mean, he obviously got me in, but it was another group, a separate group that was wanting dirt on the Republicans because they kept asking me to try to get dirt on them.
You know what,
I'm not defending the Republicans. I'm exposing them right now.
I ain't defending anybody. I ain't defending anybody.
No, I hear you.
But you're asking me to kind of form an opinion.
Well, you smelled it out that I was let in, which I think I was.
I mean, I think that it had to be a reason that, you know, I'm sure they have security. I'm sure they have cameras. I'm sure they have infrared, you know, all kinds of shit that would detect even kind of heat-seeking night vision kind of shit. And I'm sure they have motherfuckers riding around on ATVs.
They do.
And I'm sure that shit is just as secure as the borders.
So what was the point?
I can't. You have way more. You have far more experience on the subject than I do.
But I mean, seriously, I was 25. Then.
I'd be remiss to even try to guess.
But it took me. That was 19 years ago. It took me 10 years to even figure it out that I was used.
Well, I mean, listen. Far be it for me to say what is or isn't, because some motherfuckers would say that you were allowed to leave because you agreed to do their dirty work after you left.
Oh no, I never.
That's what I say. I would say, okay, well, if I broke into here and I was caught and I was questioned, if I was allowed to stay, if I wasn't apprehended, then I kind of agreed to be a Fed.
No, I thought I was legitimately sneaking in there, and then I never figured out.
But we ain't talking about you sneaking in. We're talking about how you got out.
I mean, I walked right out the front.
That's what I'm saying. If anybody else was to sneak in somewhere and get caught, I don't think they'd walk out the front.
But see, that's the thing. If I'm working for them, I don't even know it.
Well, that makes a lot of sense, too. That makes a lot of sense. If it wasn't what I just said, it could have been that you were already expected to be there in the first place. But I tell you,
but expanding on
that, we could go back and forth about that all day, and we don't really know the answer to it. Because if you can't tell me the answer, I damn sure can't tell you.
All I know is he had passcodes into it, and I got the footage for him so they wouldn't get sued. Mm-hmm. And then he turned around later and then tried to change the story, but it was stupid because everybody saw the footage.
Right.
So it was just bizarre. I don't know. I know that he had contacts with not just the lawyer; it was security.
Okay. Well,
and so yes, somebody in that organization let me in and let me get back out. And people were always saying that.
But did you really sneak in then? Because if they let you in, did you really sneak in?
They have arrested other people. They questioned me. I had the passcode.
That's what I'm telling you. So you knew you had a passcode before you snuck in.
Yeah, no, he said, we've got this lawyer that works there.
So you knew you weren't really sneaking in. You probably could have walked straight through the front gate with the passcode.
No, it was if you got questioned.
So, but if you walk through the front gate and get questioned and you give them this passcode, they grant you entry.
But they didn't question me at the gate.
But you bypassed the gate because you snuck in.
Yes. But there was another gate. Like you driving through and there's more.
So you made it through one gate and then you didn't make it through another gate. Is that what you're saying?
No, we just rolled through the next gate.
Okay, wait.
There's footage of all this.
I know what I'm saying is, because when you tell me you snuck in, that tells me I did not attempt in any form of granted entry. I snuck in
Tip.
over a wall, under a fence.
Sure, I'm the one telling you that I think they let me in. But you're convinced. You're convincing yourself of what I just.
I know it, but you know they let you in.
No,
You
I did
know-
not. No,
No.
They,
What I'm trying
they
to say
questioned
is,
me and stuff, and I later.
not, when I say
it out.
you, it is a like a philosophical you, not you personally,
Yeah.
but one would know they have been let in if they cross.
Yes, they came and
through a
recruited me
gate.
through an operative of, but I'm not sure which group.
But when you actually made your way onto the grounds, if you made your way onto the grounds through a gate, a security protected gate, that would tell me, yeah, you've been let in.
well, let me go further. There's another chapter.
You didn't sneak in.
Then
You
Brad
were let in.
Then Brad Metzler, or Metzer, he has this, that he writes those best-selling books. He's got a show on History Channel. Over a decade later, they say, we want you to go back to Bohemian Grove.
Oh, you went back?
Wait, it was on History Channel, or was it Discovery? And wait, it gets crazier. It gets crazier. We're there at this old theater in the town right there, and they've got the original alien from the movie Aliens there. And the guy's wearing a CIA hat, who's the director of the show, and they're doing this big program. I swear to God.
When you said they have the alien from the movie Alien, is this like the real guy? You saying that wasn't that? That
No,
wasn't CGI?
they've got the 8-foot rubber suit.
Okay, but you're sure it was a rubber suit?
No, they told me.
You're sure?
I don't. Well, maybe.
But you can't believe what they tell you.
Point is, it was really
obviously you
I'm
can't
gonna
believe
tell
what
you
they
the
tell you.
story. This was on TV. You can pull it up.
But
I
TV,
go into
you can't
this
believe what
old
TV
rotted
tells you.
theater, and they go, come upstairs, and he goes, I'm the director. And he's got a red hat that says CIA on it. And
So whoa, he was walking and talking.
no. I walk in. They walk me up this room, and he goes, I'm the director.
And he was a human.
Yeah. He goes, let's go in here and do the interview. And we walk in, and I sit down to the interview, and there's curtains like that on the wall. He goes, what do you think of this?
And he pulls back
And
the
they
curtain.
pull back the curtain, and there's an 8-foot alien
Yeah.
from the movie Aliens.
Okay.
Scarier than hell.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
And he goes, that's the original suit from the movie Alien. What do you think about that?
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, these people are all really creepy.
Well, wait a
Wait,
minute.
they had a full bar downstairs.
I feel like he was testing you to find out if you were creeped out by the 8-foot supposedly plastic.
Well, I'll tell you what's scary now.
It could have been a fucking carcass.
Well, listen, let's
It
go.
could have been an alien carcass.
Well, listen, let's go further.
Okay.
So then they're shooting all day with me in there.
All right.
And then I go downstairs, there's a full bar, and the bartender starts threatening me. He goes, I played naked bongos with George Herbert Walker Bush there. And you're saying we're satanic. I say F you because the whole town's run by him. It's a cult. And,
So there are actually people who live there and work there.
and they all love it. Anyway, so he goes,
What is the
he goes, I
population?
know you're sneaking in there.
What's the population of this town?
I don't know. It's on the Russian
Above
River.
or below 10,000?
It's below 10,000.
Okay.
It's on the Russian River. So this guy says to me,
Okay.
he goes, I know you're sneaking in there again today.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, I could call him and have you arrested, but I'm not. And then I noticed that the director's laughing at me. So all of a sudden, I get in these canoes with their camera crew, and instead of going
You
to
get in canoes?
yeah, instead of going in the front gate, I swear to God, this is all true. There's all video of it. Instead of going the front gate, they want me to go up to the back end of it where I'd shot video before from this overlooking point. Okay? When I went up that hill and hit out. When I came back out, I shot that. And so they keep going, and they're only supposed to show me where I went, how they could go up.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, they go, no, Alex, you've got to go. Come on, come on. And I went, no, I'm staying below the water line. I'm not violating this place. I'm not going to violate and trespass twice. And as soon as I start walking back, they go, freeze, police. And guys start running down with guns. I go, fuck you. I run, jump into the fucking canoe, run from them.
And don't get shot.
No, listen. They start chasing me.
Don't shoot.
They got cars across the other side.
But don't
I
shoot.
jump off and swim with my cell phone out, call my crew members to come pick me up.
Right.
Okay, this happened.
No
None of it's
gunshots.
put in the show.
No gunshot.
Now the show, they had me running from the police.
Right.
and the security.
Yeah.
They all get arrested but let out the next day.
Right.
And when I saw those people,
no
because they're all
gunshots.
friends with the Bushes, and I already knew this.
Right.
Okay, this guy writes books with the Bushes. I knew
Okay.
what it was.
Okay.
They were literally, this time,
Right.
I guess, pissed at the other group, whatever group that is in the Illuminati, and wanted to bust me.
Okay, but correct me if I'm wrong.
Now, that's my life. It gets weirder.
I got you, but correct me if I'm wrong. Still, no gunshots.
No.
Oh, okay.
But here's the difference.
That is the quintessential definition of white privilege. Because had my motherfucking ass got caught anywhere near there, at the bar, at the gate, in the canoe.
No. The bar is an old theater in town. The bar is an old theater in town.
I don't give a damn where I was.
But listen, aren't these some
when you said that that bartender had kind of snarled at you?
Oh, he told me.
That motherfucking bartender would have bust off caps at me, man. That shit would have been, you know what I mean?
That's what I'm telling you is that. I mean, I knew that.
Do you not
I knew
believe
that
in white
Brad Metzer,
privilege?
whatever his name is, works with George W.
Do you
It was
believe?
all a big joke.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you for that insight, because most of us, my people, would not have the opportunity to even,
You know what YouTube's going to do? I want viewers to do this, please.
Okay.
Because I'm not allowed to be on YouTube.
Okay.
Go find the Bohemian Grove special from History or Discovery or whatever it is. Well, somebody type in Alex Jones, Brad Metzer, Mysteries or whatever, and he did shows with the Bushes.
But what you want them to do?
Huh?
What you want the people to do?
I want them to take everything I've said here for this, and like, you go find the footage and put it to it. I'm not making this up. And somebody can find that old theater with the actual. It's funny you say that.
Trust me, they gonna pick this shit apart.
Because let me tell
you
you,
hear me?
that alien. It's funny you said that. I'm not just kissing your ass. When I looked at that thing, I remember. I don't know why I didn't take a photo. Maybe I have a photo on the phone somewhere. I remember looking at that thing, going, "Man, that looks even scarier than the movie." I was like, "Man, it was really good." And it's the alien from the movie.
Yeah, man.
Like
I'm
8
telling
feet
you.
tall, man.
That's something. And you just mentioned you being not able to participate with YouTube, banned from YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, damn near every social media platform we could think of. Were you banned from them, really? And if so, tell me why.
Please let me tell you the story.
Please.
When we exposed the Aleister Crowley rituals that were in the WikiLeaks,
Okay.
the New York Times.
Now, we have to get into the WikiLeaks a little bit so they have some context.
Sure, they don't deny that these are real. Whoever gave them to them, it certainly wasn't the Russians.
What were the WikiLeaks?
The WikiLeaks were tens of thousands of pages that were released over the years, but right before the election in September and October of 2016.
Mm-hmm.
And they were put out on the internet, and we wrote big articles about how it talked about Aleister Crowley rituals and how basically Hillary needed to do more rituals to defeat Trump, and just stuff that,
More rituals. The kinds of rituals that you saw at the Bohemian Grove.
beyond that. I mean,
Beyond
this
that.
talks
So what
about,
is beyond that? Would this get into Pizzagate and that kind of shit?
that's where it goes.
So what about Jeffrey Epstein?
Okay, so let me, and this is how I've learned. I've gotten a lot smarter over the years.
Okay.
We didn't originate the story. This is in the WikiLeaks. It's all over the news.
Okay.
It's like, MSNBC, Top of Drudge Report, the high priestesses and goat heads and blood, and talking about, and the kids laying in vats of blood, and they say it's all simulated. I mean,
Who said this? WikiLeaks said this?
Oh yeah, it's
Okay.
It's not. It's photos of it.
Right. So this is corroborating the stories of Corey Haim, I believe it is, and even Dave Chappelle, who said that there's something strange going on in Hollywood.
Yeah, that's why he ran from it. It's real.
Right.
So it's devil worship. So let me tell you what happened. So all this comes out. All of a sudden, ABC News, CBS News, CNN, New York Times go, yeah, WikiLeaks. It's Pizzagate at a pizza place in D.C.
Yeah.
And so my crew all goes, look, they're showing this pizza place.
Right.
And then we start covering, everybody does, and the media goes, look, Jones is covering this pizza place. Nothing was going on there. Mm-hmm. And that, like a mockingbird, like its wings broken to get away from its eggs,
Right.
they made it all about this pizza place in D.C.
Okay.
where the Clintons and others went in Podesta, but it wasn't going on there
Oh.
to divert off New York and all the stuff that was in there.
Right.
And then that was a distraction from all of that. So first they have this huge national thing. Alex Jones did all this and claimed there was a basement. They're killing kids in it. And it's not true. I didn't do that.
Right.
So then they start attacking other things. And they go back and look at all I've done for 20-something years before that. I've been on here 25 years. So I've been on here about 22 years then.
Okay.
And they find things and edit these tapes out of context. But we have free speech. We should be allowed to say it.
Sure.
And so then they go, Alex Jones is saying nobody died at Sandy Hook, and he's sending people to their houses to harass them right now.
All
well,
right.
I never said go harass them.
Okay.
The internet questioned it. I barely ever even covered it.
Right.
But they made it about my identity and wouldn't shut up about that one thing.
Which one thing?
The Sandy Hook.
Okay, but back to.
I'm going to go back to the occult, but this was the next thing about
Pizzagate.
They were really pissed about Pizzagate.
All right, well, what did you do with Pizzagate? Where did you end off? Where did you leave off?
I ended off explaining that this is a big national story. Everybody else is covering it. Mainstream media made it about the pizza place to distract us off the real story.
What's the real story?
What was all in the WikiLeaks, the Aleister Crowley, the rituals, the devil worshippers, the missing kids in Haiti.
But were they was there no direct relation to Pizzagate?
Pizzagate is just the term it was given, and so they made it a pizza place. Pizzagate is in the FBI files. Cheese pizza means child porn, and they use pizza and Italian food code words for how they're trafficking kids.
Yeah, I understand that, but look though, what I'm talking about is you're a conspiracy theorist. I'm, a conspiracy theorist observer at the very least. So, if you say that Pizzagate is code words, this, that, and the other, I know Pizzagate to also mean code words, but in other words, covertly, I've heard that there's a tunnel from that pizza place that you speak of that goes all the way into the White House.
No, I don't know anything about that.
You don't know anything about that.
Let me put it to you this way.
Joe Epstein, you don't know Joe Epstein, the owner of that pizza. Why is the owner of that pizza place been named as the most influential person in Washington, D.C.?
Well, he was named in that thing.
Why? But why?
Well,
why? What has he done? What has he done so great?
It's Jeffrey Epstein.
No, wait a minute.
But Jeffrey Epstein's a separate guy.
I know, wait a minute. Jeffrey Epstein to the side. Let's focus on the owner of this pizza shop. Why was this guy, look up his name for me, please. Why was this guy named as the most influential, most powerful person in Washington?
His name's Alefantis.
Oh, you know him. Oh,
No.
great. Okay. Well, why do we
I know all this stuff. But
why
give
do
you a
we see,
headache.
okay, well, I'm just telling you. If you know it, I'm asking questions. Please share.
No,
So why is this gentleman considered publicly the most influential person in Washington, D.C., above the president? Why?
Well, they listed him, I think it was a Forbes influential people in D.C. And again, that's because some of the top Democrats had fundraisers there.
Democrats again. Okay.
And so I'm just telling you, and I'm just told the Republicans are having gay sex out of Bohemian Grove. So
I got you.
So I'm just telling you what's going on.
But you also said
and they got 8-foot aliens.
But you also said you were sent there by the Democrats. So everything that you say kind of ties back to the Democrats.
No, and I'm being honest about that.
But I mean, listen, both parties, both groups of people, all people
spy on each other.
Not even just spy on each other. All people have potential for evil and destruction. All people. There are no perfect people.
Sure, what I'm telling you is.
But why is this guy, a pizza shop owner, a guy who bakes pizzas for a living, why would this guy be helmed as the most influential person?
Because he.
Why would he be along the side of the Clintons, the Bushes, the Obamas? Why would he be alongside all of these people? What has he done besides make such a good pizza?
T.I., I am agreeing with you.
I'm asking. There's no agreeing with me.
No, I'm telling you.
Question.
Sure. I'm telling you, I have WikiLeaks documents and photos and all of this of them doing Aleister Crowley rituals and of it listing top Democrats in attendance and photos of people in attendance. And then when it all came out, the New York Times tried to say, oh, look at this art exhibit, and threw the photos up themselves in giant spreads to try to hide it in plain view.
All right.
So there was some creepy stuff at the pizza place. There wasn't a basement like the news said. Mm-hmm. We covered that.
There wasn't a basement. So you did. So wait a minute. You telling me that you went down to search for the tunnel? and found nothing. That's what you're saying?
No, what I'm saying is that
But you said there was no basement.
No, they released.
You said there was no basement like you said there was no basement like the news said. That's what you said.
You know where there is a basement?
No, I didn't ask you.
I'll tell you where there is.
I did not ask you where there was a basement.
He's got to be a lawyer.
I said you just told me that there was no basement as they told us. That would lead one to believe that you went down there personally, just like you did with Bahamian Grove, and you spoke in such great detail.
That's a good point. I have not gone down there personally to make sure that doesn't happen.
Okay, so you don't know whether or not that there is.
And I haven't because they say that I sent an armed man in there to shoot it up.
Who is they?
That's what the national news says.
The
Right after
national
this came
news
out,
said you sent an armed man
Yes.
to this pizza shop.
Yes, and they also said that I sent an armed man to burn down Bohemian Grove.
Could you please pull it up where they said it? You have a phone right
No, I'll
there.
tell
That's
you.
a computer. You can Google it.
Sure.
I want to pull it up. Just pull it up so I can see
That's
it.
what I'm telling you.
Because I don't think they should do you like that. I think that's damn wrong. I think
me.
it's damn wrong. I think it's fucked up. So I just want to see it. Show me what they did you like that, and we're going to put them on blast. We're going to show people what the fuck they said about you. Now, while we're doing that,
I'm going to show you right now. Let me get it out of that airplane.
Absolutely. While we're doing that, tell me what you think went on with Jeffrey Epstein.
Okay, let me do this. I need a coffee break, and then I'm going to come in here and load it for bear, and I'm going to tell you all of it. And I'm going to pull this up for you, too.
Absolutely, man.
But let's do this first, though.
Okay,
I'm going to go to Google. It's not as good as it used to be.
Nah, is this shit? I mean,
I mean, it's all rigged. But Bing's a little bit better. But let's type in Alex Jones.
Bing's better? Okay, well, that's
Alex Jones.
That's useful information.
Armed.
Everybody, he said Bing is better.
No, well, I mean, start page is great.
Who?
DuckDuckGo's pretty good.
Who? You say DuckDuckGo?
DuckDuckGo's a little bit better here.
Okay.
Let me type in.
We need all this
Let me
information.
think of the exact
guys.
headline
We need
here.
all this information.
This guy's got more energy than I do, which is great. I'm here. I love it. So I got to answer quick here. Inquisitor, your nickname. The brain over here. Let me just get this. I'm trying to think the exact headline. That was like 3 years ago. It's Alex Jones fan shoots up.
You want me to see it?
Alex Jones fan shoots up.
You want me to read it for you? I can read it for you.
No, I'm going to pull it up.
I can read it for you if you got to pull it up.
I'm trying to pull it up. I'm
Okay,
trying to type it. I'm trying to remember. Alex Jones fan.
You're trying to remember, but if you pulled it up, you'd be reading it. You wouldn't be remembering.
I'm trying to remember the headline to pull it up.
Okay, cool.
Alex Jones fan shoots up Comet Ping Pong.
Okay, cool. I'm just, I just want to see what you're pulling up here.
Okay.
That's all.
Here you go.
All right, here we go. Okay.
Here you go, man. London Guardian.
Let's see it. All right, cool. Here we go. Pizzagate gunman pleads guilty as conspiracy theorist apologizes over case. Okay. Edgar Madison Welch, who fired an AR-15 rifle at Comet Ping Pong restaurant, makes plea on same day as Alex Jones offers statement to restaurant's owner. The gunman who fired an AR-15 rifle in a Washington, D.C. pizza restaurant as he self-investigated a bogus conspiracy theory pleaded guilty on Friday, the same day a prominent conspiracy theorist apologized for spreading the story. Edgar Madison Welch, age of 28, made a deal with prosecutors to plead guilty to 2 charges: assault with a dangerous weapon and interstate transport of a firearm, in exchange for prosecutors dropping a 3rd charge that carried a 5-year minimum sentence.
And let me tell you what I knew was happening.
Okay.
So listen. They were saying
just as I suspected, you were telling the absolute truth about that.
And you
actually, hey man, I ain't trying to say
believe me, this stuff. That's why I'm telling these stories.
And you were able to corroborate your truth with documentation.
I can show you the guy
this is all we asked for here.
A guy also dressed up like a superhero and tried to kill and tried to burn down Bohemian Grove.
What?
But listen, let me tell you what's happening. They're all out of work actors.
What?
I can't
fighting back against Hollywood.
I can't say
so what's the difference between the Bahamian Grove and Scientology? Because the same thing you're saying about Bahamian Grove is what people say about Scientology.
Well, let me tell you.
Okay, I'm listening.
I mean, Bohemian Grove is what Scientology wishes it was, but this is way beyond that. These are cults. And let me explain something. What do you think happens when you start investigating? They send somebody in to shoot stuff up. Then they're blaming you on every channel. I was on every channel at that time.
So if anybody blames me for shooting anything up, guys, you'll know.
No, that's what they do.
A lot to do.
Well, remember back in the 80s and 90s, they'd say rap was making people do that. But the point is that that's what they do. And they
operate on fear. I will give you that.
Yeah.
The government the powers that be that want to control the way we think, behave, and operate.
Let me say it this way. Yes, you're right. Let me say it this way.
They operate on fear.
Let me say it this way. CNN and the New York Times broke the story saying that we were saying there was a basement and they were killing kids in there. We didn't say it. They said it. Then a guy goes in my name and does it to shut down our investigation of Jeffrey Epstein and the WikiLeaks and real devil worshippers.
I get
because
that.
Epstein wasn't just having sex with kids; they were doing rituals. And that's come out now.
But let's talk about Jeffrey Epstein because his mysterious suicide. His mysterious suicide has the nation in awe, in shock.
Let's do it. Let's get a coffee.
Okay, man, let's get a coffee.
All right, you're awesome.
People who have a true sense of self, who are really God-fearing humans, they don't fear anything because the only thing that can be done to me is death. That's all you can do to me is
That's
death.
fucking gold. You get that on tape?
You dig what I'm saying?
It's so good over here, though, man. It's in the side shot.
If you kill me, then all I have to worry about is the next phase. And
Do me a favor and say, hey, I'm T.I., motherfuckers. You're watching InfoWars.
All right, give me a second. I will do that, though.
All right.
I'm T.I. and you're watching InfoWars, but this is...
That's great. Thank you.
No matter how propagandous it may be, you're still watching InfoWars.
Well, I got to say, I'm actually impressed, man. I think you're one of the smartest guys I ever talked to.
Man, I appreciate that.
No, the questions are really good because it's like crazy. Because it's like the exact... Because this stuff's so complex. There's so much. Like a lot of the stuff, you like the key.
Right.
Like
Well, you know what I actually see is, and I tell this to my children all the time when they bring me their problems. You could look at all of the noise that clutters the outskirts of your problems, or you could goddamn attack
the nucleus.
The nucleus of the problem. So I just want to get right down to the nitty gritty.
The root.
My granddaddy said, "Man, get them hit."
Then
that
let's
shit
say
at
it.
the
There is a
nitty-gritty.
worldwide group of vampire devil worshiper cults. They don't live forever, but the spirit in them is old, and they want to hurt children. Vampires are real.
Okay.
They just don't live forever, but the spirit in them is ancient and likes to hurt children.
And they can live longer if they can kind of absorb the innocence.
Yes, and these people compete to have these entities like Avatar is showing you people jacking into a body. They want that spirit in them running them for the power and the thrill.
How can they get that spirit inside of them?
They learn to channel it, and they do evil, corrupt things so the unclean spirit will enter them.
So the unclean spirit will enter them, or so the clean spirit will
No, it's by unclean. You've got to get so far away from God. It's like in the cheesy, but it's episode 4. No, episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. He's not really Darth Vader yet. Emperor Palpatine says, you must go to the Jedi Temple and kill all the younglings. Only then will you be powerful enough. And he goes and commits the human sacrifice of a couple hundred kids.
Okay.
Then his eyes go yellow like the owl, and now he's Darth Vader.
Okay, now let me ask you this now. And I feel comfortable asking you this because I feel like you'll be honest.
You can ask me anything.
Based on your integrity as a journalist and a truth seeker. Tell me about the conspiracy of Bob Marley.
To tell you about the conspiracy of Bob Marley, I got to tell you about the conspiracy of John Lennon.
Okay, let's hear it.
They don't want me to get into the specifics, but I was contacted by the...
Who is they?
By the Lennons.
Okay, cool.
And I was invited to go to a ritual with them in Reykjavik to counter the spirit, the satanic force.
Okay.
And I told them, listen, I just can't, I'm not, I appreciate the offer of the private jet to come take me to Reykjavik in this ritual.
Right.
That Yoko Ono later did. It ended up in the news.
Yoko Ono did a ritual?
Yeah. But
what was the ritual consisting of?
it was like countering the false light and trying to bring in the real light. And it was, but I just didn't. But it was obviously, it was not a black magic thing. It was people trying to thinking they were doing something good. But I only tell you that because I already knew a lot of.
But did they find the opportunity to do something good?
I remember hearing months later that they was in the news. They had a bunch of powerful leaders from all over the world, who they thought were like shamans of light or something, to get in this circle and do this thing to counter the devil.
All right.
But the only reason I tell that is that little bit came out in the news, so I can talk about what they told me. I'm not going to get into what Sean Lennon and all that stuff said because it was very personal.
But
I already knew.
But let me remind you, the question wasn't about John Lennon. The question was about Bob Marley. So you don't have to elaborate.
But I'm going to tell you.
I just
here's the thing: I know firsthand about But the same program, if an evil force is threatened by somebody and they have a way of doing something, if I tell you what I know from inside happened to John Lennon, then I can tell you what they did to Bob Marley. And the word is they did kill him with a viral cancer injection into his toe.
In the boot.
Which is real.
Right. Yeah.
But I didn't get that directly from his family, but I got that from people that have...
Someone, if I would, a CIA agent on his deathbed actually confessed to such actions.
Well...
CIA, FBI.
Well, there are a lot of people that. Here's the thing: there are a lot of people that claim they're this and that. I'm not saying you're wrong. I got the deathbed confession of E. Howard Hunt, who ran the operation to kill Kennedy in Dallas. I mean,
yeah, that is another thing.
We'll do that, but let me just.
What is that?
We were getting into assassinations. Let me tell you.
Absolutely. What I just want to, if I could potentially, gain more information with organization of the direction of questions and answers.
Sure. Here's the problem. You're asking really complex questions. So let me just explain. Okay, I'll say it this way. The establishment looks at people who could be potential leaders, and they try to corrupt them and get them on their side. And if they break away from it, they do actuaries. That's basically insurance company calculations, but it's more complex, to decide if that person has the potential to bring them down. So they will either blackball them and freeze them where they can't get their music out or their information out anymore.
Right.
Or they will kill them. And they tried to block John Lennon. He left all that stuff. He said there's devil worshippers.
Right.
He said they're into eugenics. They want. He goes, I'm going to be against them. And they killed him. It was the same thing with Bob Marley.
Okay.
And they have, again, viral cancer, where they can inject it in you, and it kills anybody that gets injected within a month.
That's real. Okay,
that was given to Jack Ruby.
No, wait a minute. Could that be the same thing that happened to Eazy-E?
I don't know about Eazy-E, but I know Jack Ruby walked up and shot Lee Harvey Oswald.
Wait a minute. Listen. Eazy-E had a similar experience as Bob Marley. You know what I mean? He refused to comply with the government's request for him to I guess, to dumb down or tame his messaging within his music. And he was then presented with, I guess, a pair of boots by a presumed ally who happened to have been from America, put those boots on, and it was said that he said, ouch, when he stuck his foot in the boot. And then months later, he began to get sick. Now, Eazy-E, they were served with letters from the CIA, FBI, somewhere in the government. I forget which branch of government. But they were served with letters from the government to dumb down or tame the messaging within their music. He refused. And then months later, he became sick and died. So I'm just asking, could these have any correlations to
Absolutely, because music is one of the most powerful things out there. And if people get big followings and they're not going along with what they want, they will either silence them or set them up and put them in prison or kill them. And then there are fights within these power structures, and there are some reportedly good people inside the power structure.
Certainly.
And
there can't be no good without bad, no bad without good.
But I've come to the realization over the years, everybody thinks I'm being handled or controlled or being directed. No. But it's kind of like people draw back an arrow and fire it, then they loose it, and it just goes. Is that I know there's been good forces helping me out as well.
Do they think that?
What?
Do they think that you're being handled or controlled?
A lot of people say that, yeah. But I mean, I've done this myself. I'm self-made, but now I can see, like, oh, you want to sneak in here, and then they help me get in, and there's a lot of weird stuff's going on.
Okay, now let me.
But I do good, legitimate things and expose the evil, and you now. Do?
I mean, you've told a lot of truth.
They decided I need to be taken off the air, so understand, only people get what I'm saying is Infowars.com, band.video.
Okay.
That's what this has gotten.
So that's where they can find your information.
Band.video and Infowars.com.
After our time runs out, I have 3 very quick questions that I want to ask you, but before I'm going to go ahead and get out the good stuff. Now, we talked about Eazy-E. We talked about John Lennon. We talked about Bob Marley, Tupac.
I mean, I know they've got all those theories and all the rest of it.
I know it, man. You the biggest conspiracy theorist here, man. What about Tupac?
Again, I only generally research
What
things that
about Tupac?
You know more about it than I do?
Nah, man. Let me tell you something. Did the government have an interest or a motive to neutralize Tupac?
I think anybody that the system fears and thinks that has pull, they don't control, they kill. That's why Oprah Winfrey was involved with Jeffrey Epstein in a secret society.
Okay, let's hear about it. Now, we talked about Jeffrey Epstein, but we didn't elaborate.
We didn't
what
go
do
there.
you feel like happened with Jeffrey Epstein?
I mean, we know what happened.
What did you feel like happened with Jeffrey Epstein?
Well, don't believe me.
Tell me why.
Type in billionaires meet in secret to discuss overpopulation.
But what is it, though? What is it that brings all these billionaires together with
Jeffrey
Epstein?
I will tell you.
What is it? Why?
I will tell you.
Why?
Is it
just because they have a lot of money?
No. Jeffrey Epstein was working for the eugenics transhumanist group on developing underground, when I say underground, I mean secret cloning projects in China.
Okay.
And they were taking the money through him and directing it into Harvard and a bunch of other research facilities. And they were then compromising all the top scientists by getting him to go to his big pleasure palace in New York or the island in the Caribbean, Little St. George.
What were they
But I'm
doing?
telling you, he was there to compromise all the scientists with sex operatives. He was running an intelligence operation.
What's a sex operative?
They go and blackmail men with underage girls. And so they were blackmailing all the scientists.
Like R. Kelly. Man.
To get all the top scientists, under their control so that they would run these different secret projects and create life extension technology and also animal-human hybrids. And they also wanted to set it up where
what do they get out of an animal-human hybrid?
Because then you can create a humanoid that's part cow, so the cow won't reject it. You can grow a 90-pound human up inside a cow, and then it can be a clone of you, and then that way you don't reject the organs of your clone, and they grow. They don't have artificial wombs that work yet, according to my information, but a cow is an artificial womb. So they create a human clone, but it's spliced just a few percentage with a cow.
Okay.
To the very cow that your clone is implanted in. And grown. They make they create the clone.
Yeah.
They put it in a test tube.
Okay.
They grow it up. Then they implant it in the placenta of a cow.
And the placenta, and you use the uterus of a cow.
And then they grow the larger humanoid.
Okay.
And he was running projects.
And he's born at what weight or size?
They can get them up to like 90 pounds.
So a 90-pound baby comes out of a cow.
Well, they cut it out, yeah.
A 90-pound baby's cut out of a cow.
By the way, I said this 20 years ago. It's all declassified now.
I mean, wait a minute.
But Epstein was running this.
I got you.
But he was running the blackmail to make
Epstein was running an operation where you could justify a 90-pound baby being cut out of a cow
to harvest the organs
and called a human.
Yeah, no, it's Oprah Winfrey's copy. It's David Rockefeller. It's Steve Jobs. It's a clone.
So all of
they make a clone of David Rockefeller.
They make a clone of,
they put some bovine in it so that they can then grow it up big, because he can't get a clone of a baby and grow it in a woman and get a little bitty liver.
I got you.
He wants a big ass liver.
All right, but look though, let me ask you this though: what did they do with this clone?
They gut him and they throw him away.
Oh, they only want the organs out of the clone.
Yeah, but Epstein wasn't running the cloning operations. Epstein was blackmailing all the scientists to make them get involved. He would blackmail them with kids. And so they would then make all the scientists be part of the program.
So they just made what he did be about kids and child pornography to cover.
That's how they're corrupting the scientists and all the people to get them blackmailed to then work as slave scientists for Hydra, for Cobra, for Spectre, whatever you want to call, like in all the James Bond movies and stuff that was written by OSS MI6 guy. There's always these weird corporations and shadowy overlords building secret nukes and clones and moonrakers and plans to depopulate the earth. Sure. That's him telling you what these people are really like. They've got trillions of dollars. They're dumping it into secret projects, and they've got people like Epstein that goes around to get the heads of Harvard and the heads of Yale and the heads of the Albert Einstein and get Oprah Winfrey, all of them compromised into the cult that's all looking for life extension and immortality. And so they're all in the secret cult of clones.
Okay, got you. So it's all behind people.
Genetic engineering.
It's all behind.
It's all real, Tim.
It's all behind mega rich people.
By the way, I said 12 years ago Epstein was running a eugenics operation and compromising scientists for world population reduction and world government. And it all came out months ago. My security guy doesn't believe me.
Let's research that. Let's research Alex Jones.
You type it in for you. You type in billionaires meet in secret to discuss other population. Jeffrey Epstein runs it. Oprah Winfrey, Ted Turner, Bill and Melinda Gates. They're all right there in the articles. Running a group for world government and how to depopulate people, but that's only the cover.
Now listen, I'm gonna go on now as a black person.
Tim, I'm watching you.
As a black person, I must go on record as saying I'm not going to allow you to just toss around, falsities about one of our heroes in Oprah Winfrey. It must be definitely classified information that you can present. Now, if not, we could say it once.
I'm not saying she had sex with kids. I'm saying she was part of these overpopulation meetings with David Rockefeller and Ted Turner and Bill and Melinda Gates.
Now, but could she be a part of the meeting and say, you know what, I don't like this shit that you guys are saying and I'm out of here?
Well, that's just like I said that people go to Bohemian Grove.
It's just like you went to Bohemian Grove and you said you didn't like what was going on and you was out of there, right?
And so did people.
So what if somebody said, hey, Bohemian Grove, they're doing all of these things and Alex
Absolutely.
Jones was there?
Just because somebody was in Epstein's orbit doesn't mean they're guilty.
Okay.
Just like Trump hung out with him at parties.
Okay, but you didn't mention him.
I'm not
you didn't mention him.
I just
You
brought
didn't
Trump
mention
up.
him though. You mentioned Oprah. You didn't mention.
No, but Trump didn't go to the eugenics meetings.
Oh well.
Okay, you want to pull it up again? You liked that when I did that? You want to see it?
Hey, look, how about this? Let's do this. Because we only have a short period of time, I've kept you far too long.
Yeah, these folks are ready to go here.
Yeah, I'm
Infowars.com, newswars.com, pan.video.
And tell them anything else, what other way.
No, it's just that we have our own videos, our own streams. Millions still come to us. They try to shut us down because on my own show, I've got a big group of people.
Right.
And when I say that, they pull up the London Guardian, they pull up the New York Times.
Right.
But it's like, oh, the elite are meeting to depopulate us. Aren't they great?
Okay. All right. Now let's talk about HAARP.
Yes.
Let's talk about HAARP, global warming, and weather control.
I had the head of HAARP on one time.
Let's talk about that and how it relates directly to hurricanes like Katrina, and I don't know the names of them, but the ones that affected Puerto Rico, the ones that affected Bahamas. The ones that I think it was, if I do remember this one, Harvey, I think, that affected Texas. Let's talk about weather control.
Let's do it. Well, we've always had storms, and some storms are completely real. We know that since Vietnam, they were able to manipulate and seed the weather and create huge storms out of clear blue skies. That's even on the Weather Channel, History Channel. And expanding on that, I interviewed, when they declassified it in 2004, Ben Livingston, who was in the news as the father of other weapons. I looked him up. He was in Texas.
Okay.
I flew him to Austin. I interviewed him, and he got reclassified once he came on. It made a big fuss. But he explained that Stanford Research Institute, by 1967, that the Navy and the Air Force had certified that they could create hurricanes, kill hurricanes, strengthen them or weaken them or steer them. And so Bill and Melinda Gates, type in Bill and Melinda Gates, Bill Gates wants to control hurricanes, and he now has these antennas and laser arrays, and China has it as well, and the United Arab Emirates can also make it rain. And so there's, and you can also type in CIA Director Brennan talks about geoengineering, and you can see him on YouTube 3 years ago admit they're controlling the weather, and there's a global government system doing it. They have international treaties. So then I talk about it, and they say, oh, it's a conspiracy theory, it doesn't exist, but all of this is going on like we're idiots. All this is being built. All this is being set up around us. And it's a perfect way to then terrorize populations to pay a global carbon tax to the UN and the IMF and World Bank on all human activity, because they're able to literally hold us hostage with these weather weapons and systems. They can withhold rain. They can spin up hurricanes. They can destroy hurricanes. Right. And that's a fact. And they don't want us, the mere mortals, to talk about it.
Right.
And one way they do it is they add aluminum dioxide.
And that has a lot to do with insurance companies.
Absolutely. In fact, insurance companies,
the real estate market, and all of that. Does it not?
Exactly. They can send a drought into a farmer area for 10 years.
Yeah.
Everybody moves out, and then they move in and buy it up, and then make it rain again.
Okay, well, look. Okay, well, that's one thing that we want to talk about, but we don't have a lot more time with you. So
I know you. This is your longest podcast, isn't it?
it is. It definitely.
All right, man. Yeah.
It definitely is.
And I can't wait for it to air. I think it's gonna be the number one.
It is of
Maybe we can break Joe Rogan's record out. I've got his record podcast.
What? It is of great interest to me. It is of great interest to me. Now, the one thing that I want you
Don't cry over spilled tequila.
You dig what I'm saying? Hey, tell me, what is the origin of America? How was America?
Boy, that is an incredible question.
How was America founded? Because in the curriculum in the schools, they tell us something, but I feel like you may have more insight. So people who are in school right now learning how America was founded, I think they may be able to challenge their teachers with whatever you say. So how was America founded, sir?
Well, that is a very sophisticated, complex question, but there was British elites who wanted to have a renaissance, and they wanted to have a new world to be able to...
was that the reason they left Great Britain?
Yes. They wanted to build the new Atlantis. And so we're told that a lot of the pilgrims and stuff came over because they were Christians and they were Protestants. But that was one part of it. But a lot of them were actually Rosicrucians and Gnostic Christians. And so
What happened when they got here, sir? How do you discover a land that is already occupied, sir?
Oh, absolutely. Sure, no, they came here for conquest.
I know, but how do you discover a land that has already been occupied?
Well, actually, they knew the New World was there. That was an ancient text, and that the Vikings had found it. For Westerners discovering it, hundreds of years, probably 500 years.
So they
before.
knew that they were coming over here to rape and pillage and destroy.
Well, yeah, technically, that's what all societies and cultures did.
But we're only even talking about all. We're talking about these. But they knew that was their purpose for coming here.
There were a lot of expeditions that came for different reasons, and as soon as they got here,
we're talking about the ones that were been given the credit for founding America. And I'm asking you, did they have?
Yeah, I don't think at that point they were doing raping. What would happen is they came here to trap furs and to grow crops and for land. And as soon as they got here, the natives would tell them, "You're either going to help us take over the other tribe, or we're going to kill your ass," because they were just like the white man.
Yeah.
And so everybody was killing everybody. The meanest tribes were running things. And yeah, absolutely, it was all about conquest for some groups. Others came here for religious freedom. So yeah.
Okay, cool. Now, and I appreciate that. I appreciate your version of that.
But I was going to get into the occultic nature.
Okay.
And
because it can get deep, and I know we don't have a lot of time left,
Yeah.
so I just want to get into a few things, as I can. You were banned from YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, right?
yes.
Why do you think they chose to ban you?
Well, I know why.
Well, tell me why, please.
They say I got banned over Pizzagate and over Sandy Hook. None of that's true.
Wait a minute. Over Pizzagate, what you told me that you didn't have any research that allowed you to elaborate on the fact of them having a tunnel in their basement that led to the White House.
And that stuff that the New York Times
So
said.
you said you cannot corroborate that theory.
Yes, let me just answer the question.
You, a conspiracy theorist, said you cannot corroborate this theory, and they used that lack of corroboration to ban you?
Well, no, that's what they said in the media, but that's not how they did it. Tim Cook announced on August 6th that he had a Sunday meeting with the tech heads.
Yeah.
And then later they changed their story because it was collusion.
Okay.
And they said that they all got together and they decided that I needed to be taken off the internet because I was too dangerous and that I was the guy that got Trump elected. And then they made up all these reasons. They said that I beat up a child in child endangerment when I played an ABC News clip of that kid attacking the guy and the guy throws the kid down. Everybody was showing that. They said that was me. It looked a little bit like me.
Right.
And that was just a fake news story. And then they said a bunch of other fake stuff. And they said that I said nobody died at Parkland at the shooting last year, which.
Well, what do you feel about Sandy Hook?
But that's my right to say.
What do you feel about Sandy Hook?
Oh, I think mass shootings do happen. And
But what do you feel about Sandy Hook particularly?
the internet did not believe it happened. I covered
What do
people.
you feel about Sandy Hook is my question.
I mean, I think it happened.
You think it happened?
Yes, they misrepresented what I said because my show was so famous.
So you
the Democrats.
actually feel what? Not let's not talk about the Democrats, man, because it makes me feel like you have a Republican agenda. So I don't want you to.
No, I mean it's the Democrats don't like me. They think I helped Trump.
Yeah, but it don't matter.
I'm just telling you the gang coming after me. Okay, but let me
got you. What do you feel about Sandy Hook? Do you actually feel someone walked in there and killed kindergartners?
Yes.
Okay,
but let me go back here.
You do.
People
now,
have a right to question though.
What about now? Let me ask you this: what about Las Vegas?
Let me
Las
tell
Vegas
you.
shoot.
Let me tell you.
What about the Las Vegas shoot?
Please let me answer that.
Okay.
But let me go back. Let me finish where I was at. They took me off YouTube for saying that I said no one died at Parkland. That was another shooting in Florida. Remember last February?
Of course I do.
Of course. I have a right to say I don't think that. It's America. But here's
First Amendment.
But here's the truth.
First Amendment.
Here's the truth. I interviewed kids that were my listeners that day and the day after. They said it happened, but they said the police stood down and let it happen.
Yeah.
So they didn't take me off.
Also in Orlando, when you had the gay people who were killed in the gay club.
That guy worked for
Homeland
Security.
In the gay club. Yeah.
So let me expand on that. Now let me move to Vegas.
Now Vegas is the most.
No, it's total. It's totally staged. Let me tell you what
It's
happened.
the
I'll tell you.
most peculiar mass shooting I've ever heard.
I know what happened.
Well,
And
I'm
I had
listening.
to sign.
I'm listening. I'm listening.
I had to sign up.
Motherfucking tapes are rolling.
Well, here's the thing. I got a visit. I had to sign a non-disclosure to be able to see this footage. And then I was told, well, you've been shown this, but you can't tell people what you've seen. And I will go with what I agreed to. But let's just say it this way. I got a call the morning after from someone who's part of the FBI hostage rescue team. And I was sitting there at my house, and I get this call, and they say, first off, don't say our name, but you know, this is obviously being recorded, but we want to ask you, how did you say what you said last night? And I said, what did I say? And they said, don't play stupid. You said I would expect a mass shooting to be blamed on Trump at a concert or something, say it like 10 o'clock at night. And I'm a little, I'm going to call it psychic, whatever. I was talking in generalities at the end of my Sunday show. I said, they're going to have a false flag. They're going to try to blame gun owners. They'll attack something like a concert at 10 o'clock at night. So the FBI calls up because they know I have a contact. And so they start communicating.
The FBI calls you directly.
They call an individual associated with the government.
So they call
who this guy out here knows.
They call
and they're sitting there at my breakfast table, and they say, we want to ask Alex how he knows this. And I explain,
acquaintance. FBI
no, this is not acquaintance. Okay, I can't tell you. Okay.
Okay.
The point is,
you can't tell me that.
Well, listen.
They called you, didn't they?
No, they called the guy sitting at my breakfast table.
They called the guy sitting at your breakfast table.
Okay, so yeah, this is going on. Okay. I mean, they can dial right in. The phone listens to you. Okay, they know where I was at.
Yeah,
so they call up. They call up someone whose first name starts with a Q, and
we don't even want to talk about that.
Listen. No, I'm not talking about Q. This is a different Q.
Yeah, right, cool.
Anyways,
okay, cool.
Just getting at what I meant. They call up and they go, "We want to know how the hell you said that." Like I was kind of being, and then they go, "Well, let us tell you this."
As it pertains to the shooting.
Yes, they go, we go in there, there's Antifa paraphernalia. Mm-hmm. He'd been to the Middle East. Mm-hmm. This guy's tied in with ISIS, but they said...
Ooh, which guy?
The shooter.
The gentleman who
it turned out had millions of dollars a month, was a weapons dealer. He was like a CIA cutout selling weapons. So the Saudis were having a 10,000 person convention with their Air Force and military in Las Vegas there. They couldn't get guns on their private jets past Homeland Security. So they got a CIA gun runner, a contractor, to bring them guns to the hotel room. This was part of the Saudi civil war.
Right.
Did you hear about how, the prince months later tortured everybody in Riyadh and hung them up by their feet, and there was all that?
I did not.
That was part of a civil war to threaten Trump in Vegas.
Right.
And so he didn't really do it. They killed him. They tried to blow up the oil tanks. They shot a bunch of people as a message to Trump from the other faction in Saudi Arabia that you better back off. Then Trump went into Saudi Arabia with U.S. forces, with the Saudis, rounded all those people up and killed a bunch of them. Right. And that was all part of a civil war that we had with inside Saudi Arabia,
Right.
and that was an attempt at a new 9/11 to threaten Trump and make him look bad. That's why the media shut it down.
So that was a failed
and that's
attempt.
why the FBI says we still don't know what really happened. That's why there were all those shooters all over town, and everything else. And now, I wasn't told all that morning. I was told that he was a gun runner, and this was what we think, and this was a setup, and there's more to it. Then I got a visit.
Yeah.
And I got shown the footage
Okay.
of somebody in Florida
Uh-huh.
basically confessing what was really going on.
Okay. Now, listen. You have gone on record saying that we've been lied to about Justice Smollett, which we kind of, figured that. But why do you say that, and why do you care in particularly?
Why do I care about Jussie Smollett?
Yeah, you said that we were lied to, and I'm just wondering, like, why?
Well,
was
I mean,
that?
they admitted that he wasn't out there in the middle of the night at 2:15 when it's below zero, and then white dudes dump bleach on him and say this is MAGA country. That was a false flag. Just like in Georgia,
But
they just caught that NFL player attacking his own restaurant.
What I'm asking is, do you think that was an independent practice, or do you think that?
Oh no, he got hired.
Do
to
you
do
think
it.
the Democrats did it?
No, he was right when he said I did it for money. The show had made hundreds of millions. It was.
But do you think?
No,
that,
they did it to get. They did it to get attention to the show.
Did a political group? So no, it was not a political stunt. It was more so for the purpose of financial gain. You think?
For the TV show.
Okay,
that was part of it.
Okay,
but just like the guy. Forget his name. They busted him last week. The former NFL guy,
but guess what?
Attacking his own pizza place.
We don't care about him, though.
I know, but the point is that he was doing that too for personal gain.
I got you. Now, a lot of information in your head. You've shared a lot with us here today, and
But that's why it's good to question things. Like Gulf of Tonkin never happened.
Everything. Question everything.
How'd the first Gulf War start? They said Saddam had people beating babies' brains out and throwing them out of incubators.
But really, we really wanted the oil.
It was all fake.
We really wanted the oil. We really wanted
So that's why it's okay.
That's just like the Afghanistan war was about the opioids. It's about the opioid fields that are in Afghanistan.
And about rare earth minerals.
And that's why we have an opioid crisis.
And about lithium.
Today. Yes, but see, the thing is, we can't trace lithium to the crisis we have today.
Oh, you're right.
Whereas we can trace the opioid fields. The opioid fields that exist in Afghanistan, we can trace to the time of that war, to the time of the crisis.
There's evil forces that want us drugged out of our heads and pathetic.
Nah, man, but what I'm trying to say is, but what they do is they use a blanket of some sort of fear that the American people have, and they use that as a justification to engage in war. And then when they engage in war, they go in and use all our taxpaying dollars to enforce themselves to go in, and they occupy these countries that have
to control the drugs.
These countries that have these resources. Some of these resources may be petroleum. Some of these resources may be opioids.
Yes, and the argument is...
In this particular case, it was opioids.
And the argument is,
and that
if
was
we don't control it, somebody else will.
That was around 2001, around 9/11, correct?
Yes.
That was around 2001. 9/11 led to that particular war, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so around 2001, the 9/11 tragedy that happened, it led to a war that was in Afghanistan that went to and they occupied.
But notice how we're not supposed to talk about Vegas anymore. You're right.
Excuse me. They occupied these fields of opioids, which then led to a decade later an opioid crisis here in the States.
Absolutely. But China now is hitting us with the fentanyl even worse.
Hey, man, you know what? I'm not hip to that just as of yet. I would love to hear. Tell me where people could research the information that you use to research for your shows. Where do you get your information?
When I cover stuff live on the radio and TV, I will show people a lot of times. Here's a book written by former White House science czar John P. Holdren in 1974 saying put fluoride in the water to lower people's IQ.
Give me exact books and exact direct correlation.
Okay, Eco-Science.
Okay, who wrote that book?
John P. Holdren.
Okay.
And he talks about that in there. You can pull up the Journal of American Medicine admitting in a major study that fluoride lowers IQ and gives you cancer. I mean, I go right to the source documents most of the time where I have guests on to talk about it.
Right.
And you're absolutely right. We went into Vietnam over the opium.
Right.
And the Golden Triangle. I mean, it's the same story over and over again because because it's all about power. It's all about secret markets.
Right. Well, let me ask you another question. And this could be my second to last
All
question.
right. I love it.
My second to last question.
They look like they're going to kill you. Go
Listen, do you think, feel, and believe that Donald Trump is the best, most accurate representation for the American people?
I think he's way better than those other Republican candidates and those Democrat candidates.
That ain't what I asked you.
I'm sure there's somebody better than Trump to be president.
Okay. Whoa. Okay. So you too feel, because you've been critical of the president in recent history.
I mean, I've been critical of others about the cult.
Of course, you've been critical of everybody, but I'm just saying, though, in the 2020 elections, because I travel abroad, as I'm sure you may travel abroad.
Not a lot of them.
But when I go out the country, listen, these people laugh at us because of the mockery that has become of our democracy, our democratic government.
You know, I think that's a lot of folks buying hype, though. I mean, we're getting a lot better deals with China.
Man,
Trump's been saying,
I'm in Dubai. You understand me? I'm in Spain. I'm in France. I'm in Africa. I'm a lot of places. And I'm talking about as casually as laughing at a bar over drinks.
Well,
and they say, how could you let such a thing happen to the greatest nation? Ha, 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 ha. How could you let the greatest nation fall into the hands of such amateurism?
I think, well, you know what? That amateurism, politically, Trump is kicking their ass, man.
Man, listen.
Those people are buying the media hype.
Hey, hey, look, I'm just telling you.
Trump sure beat their ass.
I'm just telling you. If I'm from Atlanta, and there's a person who has been helmed as the representative from Atlanta and everywhere else outside of Atlanta,
it's a better representation of warmonger Hillary. Oh, Hillary won more wars.
We're not here to defend Hillary.
But that's who the Democrats put up.
It's not Trump against Hillary anymore. That race has been run. It's not Trump against Hillary anymore. It's Trump against anyone else who's better.
I know the corporate media that covers up all this evil sure as hell hates Trump. Why do you think that is?
I mean, man, probably because he's a covert white supremacist.
Oh, man, you know.
Man, listen, man. The crimes of white supremacy have skyrocketed by the hundreds of percent since he has come into election. You cannot deny that.
I mean, there's been some mass shootings, but those guys were Antifa.
No, not some. Dozens. There are more mass shootings as there are days in the year.
I think most like gangs, people shoot each other. But
no, cuz
only a couple hundred people.
We ain't talking about what y'all. We not talking
more
about. More
people.
We are
millions die from opiates.
Sir.
Not even.
That's not what we're talking about.
Guns.
We're not. But that's not. But you don't need a gun in your hand to die from opiates. That ain't what we're talking about. So let's not divert.
More people die in swimming pools than mass shootings.
Let's not divert. You don't have a gun in your hand.
How many people die in school shootings a year?
No, sir.
Less than 100.
Hey, listen, man, we ain't talking about schools. We're talking about mass shootings. That includes churches. That includes theaters. That includes Walmarts. That includes everywhere white supremacy takes lives.
What has it been? I think it's been.
It's been more than it were days in the year, sir.
I don't think so.
Now, you've been a pretty straight up guy, and I like you, and I really do feel that you really, really have a sincere passion for the American people. However, if you divert yourself away from the truth, I will
but I was
have
telling you,
an
gun
inability
owners, hold on.
maintain that thought and belief.
I understand. What I'm telling you is the average American gun owner is not responsible what some crazy person does.
Nah, man. Listen, man. Hey, listen, man. It's been 301 mass shootings in 2019. 301 mass shootings. 301. 301.
No, they call mass if more than one person gets shot. That you're wrong with statistics. But let me just throw this at you. You want me to pull them up for you? Let me just pull this up.
Hey, sir. You're going to have a hard time with this.
What about the guy in Ohio? The guy, let's go through him. Let's go through him.
No, I can't. We ain't got time to go through.
They're calling Cruz. They're calling Cruz.
Sir. Sir,
who
listen.
shot 14
Sir.
people.
Sir,
A white supremacist
what about,
wasn't.
the
Antifa
what about
liberal in
Charlottesville?
Ohio was a devil worshiper
what
that
about-
hated Trump.
what about
That's not a white supremacist.
What about Charlottesville? What about Charlottesville?
What, the guy that ran over the lady?
Yeah, what about Charlottesville? What about
Yeah, that's a mass shooting?
No, it's not a mass shooting. However, those people...
Man, I'm saying there's people shooting people. It's terrible.
Hey, man, this shit, this rhetoric, this whole agenda, this spirit, this energy has been perpetuated by the Trump administration. And you cannot, with a clear conscience and a pure heart...
Listen, I haven't brought these statistics up.
You cannot...
You talk about a spirit.
What I'm trying to say is you cannot say that this administration has not perpetuated this kind of activity. You can't say that, bro. I've been sitting here...
Trump has gone out and decried people being violent.
Man, come on, cuz.
Hey, remember what happened in Chicago when he was running?
I can't
And they
do
said
this
that he said his supporters attacked people. Hillary in the WikiLeaks paid people to dress like Trump supporters and do that. And I'm not saying there aren't some bad Trump supporters.
All right, well, listen, bro.
Let's end on a good note.
Yeah, let's
Here's
do
what really matters.
Because we can't continue.
Vaccines are getting injected in every kid color you can imagine.
You're right.
And
But it only affects black people, though.
it particularly more.
It predominantly affects black
Well,
people.
there's more autism statistically linked to fluoride and vaccines with black people. It's true.
Absolutely.
But see,
and that is
but that's where the
that is
let me add this final point.
An
This
agenda,
final point.
is
Final
it
point.
not?
You should get Reverend Childress of blackgenocide.org on. And he has made films, and he has showed them to Congress, and he is the expert.
I don't even trust his word because you mentioned him to me.
Oh, stop it. You don't have to do this at the
because
end.
if you tell me to go see him, I figure that I'm going to see him because he has all of the answers that you want him.
No.
You know what I'm saying,
man,
to
he's,
give
listen,
to my
Reverend
question.
blackgenocide.org. All right. Hey, there's been 60 million abortions since Roe v. Wade.
Yeah, and that mostly affects white people.
No, it doesn't.
That mostly affects white people.
36% of the abortions were black. Blacks are 13% of the
Man,
population.
let me tell you something, man. That mostly affects white people. I'm going to tell you why. Because
I don't care if they're black or white babies. I don't want them to die.
I understand. I don't want them to die either. But you know what? If there is... Okay, I feel that a woman should be in charge of her own body.
What about after they're born? They're killing babies after they're born now. Remember the Virginia governor, when he's not dressed up in blackface, he said we keep the babies comfortable?
Well, now, I don't... Listen, I do not agree with the mishandling. I do not agree with babies being tortured.
There's been
being
22 million
killed.
black babies killed. That's
I don't agree
double
with-
the
I do not
population.
agree. How much? How will you say? How many?
22 million
22 million black babies killed.
since 1974.
Man, since 1974, how many black men have been killed outside on the streets by the police?
Nothing compared to that.
Man, listen, man.
Ah.
22 million. Like, to be honest with you, that number, I can't even...
African Americans are 13% of the population, but they're 36% of the
brother.
abortions.
Let me tell you
That's
something.
more
I
than double.
just saw a video today where there were 3 little white boys who jumped on a little black boy in middle school, and that is a direct reflection.
I'm sure that goes on.
That is a direct reflection of the leadership
Okay.
led by the president in position right now today.
T.I., I
You
wasn't
understand
going
that?
there. I'm gonna do it.
That is
I'm gonna
the
do it.
kind of propaganda
Hey, I'm
and
gonna tell you.
rhetoric that leads to
I'm gonna tell you.
your citizens. That's the divisive tactics that leads to your citizens
glad we've gone here.
turning against each other.
I'm going to tell you, I think we should come together. I believe Martin Luther King, but look at me real quick.
Hey, brother, listen.
Let me say this in closing.
I am together with
say in closing.
you.
Let me tell you
I'm
this.
together with you.
I'm going to tell you in closing.
I'm not against you.
I'm going to tell you this in closing. I could sit there every day and show 10 cases it caught on video. I can show you my phone right now.
Man.
Of black kids beating up white kids too. People do gang stuff.
No,
No black kids are beating up.
No. I'm not saying that.
Okay.
There are exceptions to every rule.
And I think all this race stuff's causing that.
Nah, man, there are exceptions to every rule. I feel like people who say that there are race things causing this stuff and then we shouldn't pay attention to this, they are perpetuating
But you
that
brought up
shit.
3 white kids beating up a black
Yeah,
kid.
because that shit is present day.
I can
It's
show
right
you
now.
I can show you black kids beating up white kids right now.
No, you can't.
It's all over the news.
Not that happened yesterday.
Yes, I can show you today.
Man, listen. All
You
right.
don't know about all
That
this.
be that as it may, sir.
Yeah.
And
I don't want anybody to get attacked.
You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like that's not the way. That's not the key. But I think you have a lot of information,
Yeah.
a lot of research that could benefit the movement.
Yeah, and I know you've done multiple hours and you're tired and I'm tired too, but listen, let's end on a friendly note.
I ain't tired. And we are friendly. We've been friendly this entire discussion, and we remain that way. But I will also say that you are in defense of a very, very divisive, diabolical, and dastardly organization, which is the Trump administration. You are in direct defense. You are blocking the bullets and even fueling the tank, if I may say. And that is your decision.
China has 2 million Mongolians in forced labor camps. No one cares about all the stuff. It's all about Trump's this Nazi.
I'm not in China, sir.
I don't see it.
I'm not in China, sir. Ripping babies away from their mothers and fathers at the borders are the same things that the Nazis did to the Jews.
No, they killed the Jews.
Hey, man, they're killing these people as well. Whether they do it on sight or whether they do it over a period of time, they're killing.
They release 90% of the people in a week.
Hey, in 25 years, bro, in 25 years, I say this to you, I say this to Candace Owens, I say this to anybody else who stand on the side that y'all stand on. In 25 years, we are going to look back on society and we're going to see where everybody stood in the time.
Sure, I'm glad where I stand because I know what I'm doing.
In the time of now.
No borders, no walls, no USA
some of
at all.
y'all gonna be on the wrong side of history.
Oh, I'm on the right side of history.
Some of y'all gonna be on the wrong side of history.
The UN is saying we have no right. Hold on, do we have any right to have a border at all? Or anybody wants to come here, just comes in, everything's free?
Well, if only there were a piece of paper with words on it that we could refer back to that could instruct us on how to behave. The Constitution. Oh, we have that. What does it say?
It says that people have to come here and they have to go through the immigration naturalization process and follow the laws. I mean, Latin America's lawless killing zone now. It's a giant death pit with crime way higher than ours. We're just saying, don't even check who comes through. Then why do we get checked at the airport when we fly around?
Okay.
Or why did I go through the security when I got here?
But check this out.
I mean, it's just wide open, no doors.
How about this, though, right? There's a Muslim ban, right?
No. 7 countries that don't have working airports or passports.
There's a Muslim ban.
Send terrorists here.
There's a Muslim ban, is there not? There's presently a Muslim ban.
There's a ban in Saudi Arabia on Christians.
I didn't ask you that.
But that's okay.
I didn't ask you that.
Saudi Arabia doesn't take one Palestinian.
I didn't ask you that.
Yep.
There's a present Muslim ban, is there not?
Nope, it's a ban on 7 countries.
There's a ban on 7 countries that happen to be Muslim countries,
no.
Is there not?
Sudan and Somalia and places still have slavery as legal,
I didn't
and they have no working passports.
Could we please just answer the question?
You've got a card to get in your nice condo.
I have a
what
question.
The hell?
I have a
are you going to say,
question,
okay, then, you live behind a gate?
But
how about you let some migrants into your house?
I got locked up trying to get into my gated community one day, so you can't tell me shit about that. I understand that. What I'm trying to tell you is,
how many migrants are you going to take in?
There are Muslim
no borders,
countries
no walls
that are not being granted access to America. Is that not the case,
you need to take 20 people into your house.
Is that not the case?
Are you going to take 20 people into your house?
Are you going to answer the question?
There are laws that you can show
up.
Are
you not going to answer the question?
What's the question?
Is there not a Muslim ban?
No, it's a ban on 7 countries.
7 countries, 7 Muslim countries, correct?
Yes, there are 7 Islamic state-run that are, the official policy says destroy the U.S.
All right, all right, cool. Now, has the U.S. not been more affected and destructed by homegrown terrorism than they have by those Muslim countries?
9/11 killed 3,000 people. McVeigh, if you believe it,
now,
killed 100.
Wait a minute. Now, who killed? Now, who orchestrated 9/11?
If you actually get into it, the globalists working on a larger plan.
It wasn't those Islamic countries.
Actually, the West, some of the terrorists came from there. The West is actually on purpose trying to...
Listen.
Yep.
We have actually kind of like reached our limit.
Hey, man, it was good.
But listen, I want to do it again.
Are you glad you did it?
Yeah. I want to do it again.
I want to invite you when you come.
Because I want to be the one to reveal to the world that you are either a speaker of truth or full of shit. I want to be that person.
I love it. Hey, will you come stay at my house with me? Bring the family.
I ain't gonna stay. I visit. I ain't finna stay, though.
No, come eat dinner with me.
I come chill with you. We can eat dinner off ground.
No, whatever.
I mean, I come fuck with you. Yes, I come fuck with you. Yes, I will.
All right, good.
When I'm in Austin, I come fuck with you.
Absolutely, and we're going to have some fun.
Yes, sir.
This is going to be one for the record books, man.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you. Thank you for imparting your wisdom and
Band.
insight.
YouTube, band.video,
okay.
Infowars.com,
yes,
newswars.com. Infowars, tomorrow's news today.
Yes, sir.
Longest podcast.
And thank you for taking the time to share your information with the culture and the generation, because most of us don't have an opportunity to reap the benefits of this kind of insight.
Absolutely. And I'm just saying America's had a very rich history, good, the bad, the ugly, but it's like soil, and you're a seed that sprouted and did great here as well. And why is everybody trying to get in here if we're so evil?
Hey, man, it ain't that. We are evil. America is evil. America is evil. We began from evil means. We obtained these grounds.
You judge a tree by its fruits.
Exactly. Well, no. You judge a tree by its roots.
That's a good one.
You judge a tree by its roots.
Yeah, the roots
tree
give
by
you the
its
fruits.
roots.
The roots give you the fruits.
Exactly. That's what I'm telling you. The
Roots cause fruits.
From the root to the fruit, America has been historically, systemically.
But if it's so poisonous, why does everybody want to come in here? Because it's Wild Wild West, man.
Because it's way better. It's way better than their alternative, because we have more physical means.
More spark.
No, not even.
You're part of that spark.
The monetary gain.
Like turn the lights out on us.
If you're starving, if you are starving, and America has food, more food that they throw away than your whole country has to eat, then this seems like the promised land, regardless of all the other propaganda.
It's that Renaissance ethos that caused this. It's something special. We've got a lot of good in us, but a lot of evil also gets attracted to good.
Man,
the power.
If we would just stick to the Constitution, I think we'd be just fine.
No, I agree. And they're all mad, but hey, they got a job because of you, and good thing you got a lot of energy.
Hey, guess what? And I'm going to see you again. We're going to continue this
yes,
discussion.
Sir.
Something tells
yes,
me
sir.
that we'll both have a mutual benefit for continuing this discussion.
Absolutely, man.
All right, man.
Good
Thank
stuff.
you. Alex Jones,
all
everybody.
right, folks. Love you. That was one for the record books.
Yeah.